Subscribe to Emmanuel Tutorials and press the bell icon for notifications.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Emmanuel Tutorials. Today we are going to see an important topic related to Z transforms, that is the ROC. So we have already seen a video explaining ROC in Laplace transform. You can also check that out so that you can do a comparative study and you find it easier to learn Z transform. So you know that already that Laplace transform is related to the continuous time counterpart of Z transform. So it is going to be very easy for you if you refer that video and compare and study with this video. And before we go into the explanation, if you have not subscribed to Emmanuel Tutorials yet, do subscribe and share this video and channel with your friends who are in need. Do like the video if you have found the videos until now or the videos that you have watched useful, and also check out the join button below the Emmanuel Tutorials channel name and enjoy the benefits that come along with it. So let's start. We have some points which are related to the Z plane and the ROC, which we'll see one by one. The first point is we can represent the complex number Z as a location in a complex plane termed the Z plane. So here Z transform is related to Z. Everywhere you will see the complex number Z in all the formulae. So what are they saying is that we can represent this complex number Z. Z is equal to R e raised to j omega. That can be represented as a location, as a point in the complex plane termed the Z plane. So in Laplace we had the S plane, here we have the Z plane. This point Z equal to R e raised to j omega is located at a distance R from the origin and angle omega from the real axis. So here we have a diagram representing that. So this point Z equal to R e raised to j omega can be located at a point with distance R from the origin, that is 0, 0 point, and at an angle omega from the real axis. This is the real axis, this is the imaginary axis. Real part of Z and imaginary part of Z. The equation Z equal to e raised to j omega describes a circle of unit radius centered on the origin in the Z plane. So if you substitute R equal to 1, can you say that it is a circle with unit radius? So this will be 1. So it is a circle with radius 1. So it will depict a circle with radius 1. This contour is termed as the unit circle in the Z plane. So if you just consider that R is equal to 1 and you don't have the value of omega, and you will just completely trace the value of omega around the axis, then it will denote a circle with radius 1. So this is called the unit circle. Now omega corresponds to the point on the unit circle at an angle of omega with respect to real axis. So this is what they are saying, at an angle omega. As omega goes from minus pi to plus pi, we take one trip around the unit circle. So from minus pi to plus pi, the area which is getting traced is represented by the unit circle. That is what they have told. Here there are 2 points, poles and zeros. So how do we find that out? When you get an expression for the Z transform, it will be in a form of something like this: Z minus A1, Z minus A2, so on, upon Z minus B1, Z minus B2, and so on. So here A1, A2 and the rest will be zeros because they are on the numerator part, and B1, B2 and so on will be poles because they are found in the denominator, and zeros are denoted by a cross on the point in the z plane, and poles are denoted by 0 on the point wherever it is located on the z plane. This is what about the z plane and how we are getting the ROC as the unit circle. Now we'll see some properties related to the ROC for z transforms. The first point is that ROC of a right-handed signal is of the form z greater than r, mod z greater than r. So we might sometimes find it difficult to find the the ROC of a particular signal which is given, even if you have already found the z transform. So for that, these properties are going to make it easier for you to solve. So first thing is, whenever the signal that is given to you is a right-handed signal, that is, most of the part of the signal is on the right hand side and the left hand side all the points are 0, then what is going to happen is the ROC is going to be greater than r that is given, greater than the radius that is given. So here we have denoted it as the outer region of the unit circle, or the outer region of the circle denoted by radius r. Now the same thing if it is a left-handed signal, left-sided signal. So you know that majority of the signal is left-handed and the right side signal is 0. Then in such cases your ROC is going to be inside the circle denoted with radius r. So this is the ROC. This will be the this is the way you're going to draw the ROC. This is the real axis and the vertical axis is the imaginary axis. Now similarly, if you have a two-sided signal, that means that your signal has both sides, the left hand side and the right hand side of the signal. It is not majorly concentrated on one side. Then what will happen is your ROC will be greater than R1 and less than R2. So greater than the smaller radius and lesser than the greater radius, the two radii given to you. So it will be something like a donut shape, so with a hole in between, and outside also it is empty and the area is shaded in between both the radii. This is how you can find it easier to solve ROCs or to draw ROCs for the signals that are given to you to solve. Hope you understood these. In the coming videos, we'll be seeing more examples related to Z transform and ROC and the related concepts. Do watch them also. If you have not subscribed to Emmanuel Tutorials yet, do subscribe and like this video and share it with your friends. If you have any doubts related to this video, any other videos or any other concepts in electronics and telecommunication engineering, do share that with us in the comment section of any of our videos and we'll try to upload a video solving that doubt. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to Emmanuel Tutorials and press the bell icon for notifications.